Okay, hello to everyone at Elevate, and I'm just re-recording this presentation from today to make up for the fact that I didn't record it during the live meeting, although I did record the Q&A section, which I will share separately to this video. Today's meeting is how to build an audience using your Facebook profile to effectively pre-sell people on what you do without a cheesy pitch, or in other words, how I 3x my income in 4 months using nothing but organic posts and comments on Facebook. So what does this have to do with me doing copy training? Well, in April this year, I was pretty close to broke. Even though I'm doing copy rather than coaching, I was in the same type of situation as any other online business people are, where they're not quite sure what's working and what's not. And I was having sort of feast or famine. Sometimes it was going great. Sometimes things were really tough. And I'd had some bits of success, but it was going up and down. At that point, it was pretty far down. So I joined a Facebook community. I connected with the group owners and members. I started posting, commenting, and liking other people's content, which is basically the combination of copy and networking in that group. And good things started to happen. I built my friends list from 400 up to 1,600 people, and I tripled my income in 4 months. And this little piece on the right here from Facebook is a comment I left on a friend's post the other day, because he was saying he's feeling extremely self-conscious about posting, and sort of likening being posting on social media, actively posting, is like going on a holiday to a nude beach in Greece. Anyway, so these are some real money results. There's 3 posts here I want to show you. This one here, How Influence Saved My Life. Influence is the title of a well-known book in my business in copywriting. And I wrote this story about a robbery I experienced, where I used the lessons I learned from reading this book to actually negotiate my way out of the situation without anyone getting hurt. And this post is a classic show don't tell post. I didn't talk about copywriting at all in this post, but I showed that I used the skill and knowledge I had about my business in another context, but in negotiating a fairly high stakes situation. And this is actually a true story. And once this post went up, I got an inbound inquiry within a day or two from it that led to a $3,000 project. This top right one here saying sold out, this offer is now closed. This was a post about COVID-19, how I'd been, at the time, I'd been given one of the COVID stimulus payments, and I used it to invest in my business to get some skills training and wrote a story about it. And this story brought in about 5,000 of revenue for my business at the time. This is an older one here from back in October 19. And this is when I first kind of started to understand that good quality posts and storytelling could actually bring money in. It was these 2 are more recent, and I kind of figured out a system to sort of do it repeatedly. But back this time I was still experimenting. This is one of the first things I wrote that actually hit home. So this post was, I watched an episode of Jay Leno's Garage, a show about cars, and the guy talked about getting his favorite car, his dream car, from when he was a 20-year-old guy, spotting it as a wreck years later, buying it as a wreck, getting it restored, and then when it was fully restored, he sat in it and he got the smell of the leather, and he had this flashback moment where he flew back 20 years in time and felt like a young man all over again. And I thought it was really cool description of the evocative power of memory to transport people emotionally. So I made a story out of that, out of my experience in response to listening to his story. And that post brought in about 7,000 of revenue for my business. So this stuff works. Step 1 with using Facebook for networking and actually for businesses, to start thinking about Facebook more as a business tool than a social tool. You may already have a Facebook page. You may already have noticed that you don't get much reach on the posts on your business page. That's by design. Facebook don't want you getting something for nothing. Facebook wants you to pay for your business reach. That means sponsored posts and ads, which you may not be ready to do yet, but you can actually very effectively use your Facebook personal page as a business tool as well. When you use your personal profile for business, you have to just start thinking about it in terms of business and feel unself-conscious about posting whatever it is you want to say. Now, as you're entrepreneurial, you may have had the experience that people around you sort of make maybe funny comments, or they're critical, or they belittle your efforts to try and build something for yourself. And you can't have that standing over you when you're doing this. So basically, I would advise you to delete or block anyone who puts any negativity your way at any time while you're on Facebook for business. You can, if you want, to add people to your restricted list so they won't see what you post unless they search for you, but my preference is always to block immediately. And if any negative comments go on your posts in the future, you just instantly block them. These are the links here on the right are just some screen grabs showing where you'll find the options to block and where to add to your restricted list on Facebook for desktop, which you will find those options on mobile. You just have to look for them as well. Excuse me. Okay, so your personal brand. You can do this two ways. One is the kind of Instagram way where everything's highly curated. You've got these polished pictures, only the best shots get shown. And you spend a lot of money and time on getting things to look dead right. And that looks cool for Instagram, but Facebook is more about like personal connection. And I would sort of suggest you don't need to do that, that things can be a little bit ragged around the edges sometimes, and people like it. They like the authenticity. People don't want to see you just as successful, because if you're too successful and if you're remote, your presentation is remote for them, they can't really engage with you emotionally. So you want to be relatable and successful. And what it means to be relatable differs from person to person, but just trying to show your audience and people that you want to help that you are in some way like them, except maybe you're just a little bit further down the path. Or even if you're not like them, you share enough crucial things that they'll be able to relate to you and work with you on a one-to-one human level. When you're talking about success, it's not just the financial side. Obviously, having a nice house, nice car is great. Having the money to travel and things like that is also wonderful. But there's just like simple things like happiness, freedom, relationships that show success as well. If you've got a happy family, kids who are doing well in school, or just happy, healthy, smiling, showing a little bit of your family life is good to show that you're successful in more areas than just business. If you are somebody who likes to, work in the morning and then take off in the afternoon to go hiking, or just go enjoy a glass of wine and a meal in a restaurant, show that. If you're the sort of person who likes to have a siesta from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock and start working again in the afternoon, show that too. Success is being in control of your life more than it is any specific monetary goal. And lots of people who have a lot of money don't necessarily have freedom, and they may be successful from an external perspective, but they don't have a lot of room to wiggle and maneuver in their lives. So the best part of entrepreneurship, the journey you're on, is being able to obviously make good money is a part of it, but also being in full control of your time and doing what you want to do when you want to do it. That's a very high marker of success, because most people don't have that freedom in life. Your personal profile. I'd suggest you don't put business images in your profile pic or your banner. Keep it natural looking. A lot of people you'll see will have some kind of a business banner where it has links to their website and other kinds of business related imagery on their banner pic. And it just marks you out as somebody who's probably going to be all about business and talking about business and probably pitching people. And it will discourage people from engaging with you. I know if I see somebody with that, I'm reticent to engage with them. Your profile pic itself, the round one in the top left corner, should be just a natural head and shoulders portrait of you on your own. Don't confuse the issue by having couples pics or family pics in the profile. Just you on your own, so it's easy to see who you are and to recognize you. Don't cover your face unless obviously there's cultural reasons why you have to, but ideally you should be, people should be able to see your eyes, should be able to see your mouth, and be able to engage with you, that human connection. Your banner pic should be something that matters to you and something that you're involved in personally. So that can be family related stuff, it can be sports related, events you like to go to, something that matters to you that you're prepared to talk about. It could be, picture of your favorite bookshop if you like to read. It could be a picture of your favorite river if you like to go fishing. Picture your favorite beach if you like walking, or your favorite hill walk. Picture of your favorite gym where you like to train. Anything at all. Just want something that's personally meaningful to you, because other people will engage with you on the basis of stuff that's personally meaningful to them and to you that you share. So don't be shy about that. I also suggest you do claim a business page for your personal name, not necessarily just your business name if possible. You may want to use it later on for sponsored posts. It's good to grab a hold of it if it's available, even if you're not going to use it straight away. Places to be seen. You want to post on your personal wall, and there you can post anything and everything, a mixture of work and personal, stuff that interests you, stuff you think is cool, stuff related to your business as well, your wins, success stories of your clients. Those kinds of things are all very positive. You also want to be posting in highly active groups, and not necessarily the biggest groups, because sometimes those can be just hellish with lots of spammers, but smaller or medium-sized groups of up to a couple of thousand people with an engaged user base of people who post a lot, and the same people posting regularly are really good ones to be in and get involved in for spreading your name around. You definitely want to be in groups with your industry peers, people who are movers and shakers in whatever your sector is. You want to be places also where your ideal client avatar is. So for me, it's my peer group is copywriters, and my client avatar tends to be people running marketing for companies who need to hire in copywriters as part of their promotion for their products and services. And I'll be in groups connected to both of those groups of people. You also might want to be on some service marketplaces where people are selling their products and services. Depending on what you do for a living, you may find that's not necessarily appropriate, but for me, it's proven very positive and brought in revenue for me as well. Your posts. Your posts are, you can do lots of different things with posts, but generally you're trying to stay positive, let people see the positive side of you and share your values, share your interests, and share your skills without actively saying, hey, look at me, I'm great. You want to show rather than tell what it is you're all about. So like with me, for example, I've left this example here in the top right, where I'm a copywriter, and a lot of what I write, where I tend to be strong is on the storytelling side. So I will post a lot of stuff related to storytelling. And this one here, which I shared with actually Elevate Group last week, is a infographic I found that lays out how to tell a classic hero's journey story in terms of 6 very popular movies: Harry Potter, Star Wars, Matrix, Spider-Man, Lion King, and Lord of the Rings. And that's something that anybody who writes stories or does marketing for a living who knows about the hero's journey will find relatable. And by me sharing this, I'm not actually saying, hey, I'm a great story writer, but I'm just saying, hey, this is my interest. And I'm connecting myself with this idea of being a story writer or a storyteller. So things you can do in your posts: you can celebrate a client's win or celebrate a friend's win. That's the dynamic of from heaven to hell, or before and after, and showing the results. So again, by sharing that win, you're establishing your credibility, your authority in your space without actively saying, hey, look at me, I'm great, because you're celebrating somebody else's victory. The second option is celebrating a personal win. That can be in terms of a result in your business, getting a new office or facility, getting some new equipment, hiring a new team member, growing your client base. It can be a financial result at your end of year. There can be lots of different things, just showing how you're on a journey of personal and business growth at the same time. You can share a failure and also talk about the recovery from the failure. So that's problem solution. I would say if you're going to talk about problems, and problems are a very powerful way to get people to relate to you, don't just share the problem, because that can invite sort of people to chime in with more like negativity. It can become what people call a pity party, which you don't want. So if you're going to talk about problems, talk about them in terms of the solutions. So, I experienced this problem. I looked around, I found this solution, I implemented the solution, problem is now solved. Or I'm experiencing this problem right now. It's been bothering me. I'm trying to figure out ways to solve it. Here's the options I've come up with. I've got 3 different possible solutions, and I'm going to try all of these, and I'll report back in a month's time and let you know what happened. So just keeping the focus on fixing the problems and being a positive, forward-looking person. Your personal hero's journey or memorable events. So those can be your sort of origin story, how you got into doing what it is you're doing, what inspired you on the way. And then obviously keystone moments. You know, if you're a fitness studio owner, the time you got the first studio, you signed the lease on your first studio, the time you moved from the small studio up to the bigger studio, your first clients that you won, those kinds of stories, milestone moments in life and in business are really good to share. People will engage with those. You can talk about a hero, somebody who inspired you, or you can retell a story that you heard that you liked, or talk about something that's a hot topic in your industry right now. All of those things are a way of associating yourself, your personality, your business with the ideas that you positively want to be associated with. You can share valuable content from other people on FB, or you can share funny content. Once generally it's sort of family friendly or family suitable funny content. Um, and you can just basically click the share button. You can add a comment at the top if you want. That makes it clear that the content is, it breaks the line between your name and the content, so it shows that it's somebody else you're sharing. Or if you just share without a content, some people will just associate that content with you without even realizing that it's a share. And you can also share other content that you found around the web and bring it onto Facebook, like just that infographic thing I've shown you up in the top right-hand corner there. But the trick with this is to copy the image, paste the image into the Facebook post and write a description in the post, but don't put a link to anything external to Facebook in a Facebook post. Always put the link in the first comment to make sure your visibility is not affected. Facebook does not seem to like external links in posts. Commenting on other posts, that's a great way, again, to increase your visibility, especially if you're new and starting out in whatever it is you do. By commenting on the posts of people who have a high level of credibility or authority in your space, you're starting to associate your name with their name, which is a sort of implicit association, implicit credibility. The things to remind yourself when you're commenting on other people's posts is a positive vibes only. Leave a positive post or no post at all. Don't leave a negative post or negative, sorry, not post comment, don't leave a negative comment. Keep the focus on the positive. If you disagree with somebody, just don't say it and just move on, because the negativity never reflects well on you. Facebook has a really strong positive bias in the way information is presented to people, and I think when people go on Facebook, it can really turn people off you if they see you getting involved in a disagreement or an argument with somebody, even if you are actually in the right or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just being seen to disagree with people, or you can present an image of you as an argumentative, difficult person, which is not what you want. So if you see somebody's comment or their post and it's driving you crazy, makes your fingers itch, well, just don't give yourself a chance to become a hater or to end up getting involved in some negativity. I would just say instantly block that person, instantly delete those comments if you have to, if it's on your own post. Just do not engage under any circumstances, because many more people will see your comments than will like or reply. That doesn't mean you have to be a cheerleader. It doesn't mean you have to be rah, rah, rah. Everything's great all the time. But just don't wrestle with any pigs. If somebody's a troublemaker, somebody's argumentative, or somebody wants a disagreement, don't give them the satisfaction, because it won't affect you in any positive way. Maintaining a reputation for being a positive, inspiring person is like gold on Facebook. It'll attract loads of people to you over time. So just always remember that. Subjects you should handle with care or generally avoid. The obvious ones: religion, very emotive. It's fine to send blessings or prayers if somebody says they're unwell or they need it, but don't get into any debates about it. It's just not worth it. Politics the same. Nothing good comes of talking politics on Facebook. Stay out of it. If there's an issue you particularly care about from a positive perspective, cool. I've made this mistake many times. If you look through my profile on Facebook, I sometimes talk about certain things I shouldn't, and I'm really not doing that anymore, avoiding it, because it never goes anywhere good. Gender, race, and sexuality. These posts can be really good and beneficial. And look, if you've got a personal perspective to share, it's great to share it. You just have to think about how it might be perceived by other people before you do, because some people out there are professional victims. And if you talk about these subjects, which are very emotive, it's very easy for someone to try and smear you and say that you are acting or speaking in a prejudicial way towards them, and that can have a negative reflection on how you're perceived, or they can even just report you to Facebook and actually have your account suspended or blocked in the worst case scenario. So be really careful when discussing these subjects. When it comes to relationships, health, and mental health, these can be awesome, but you have to be careful. There can be a negativity bias with these subjects, and you can kind of end up getting pulled into other people's spirals of talking about their problems. So I would look about these things in a sort of problem solution. If you're going to talk about a relationship problem, talk about it in terms of solving the problem. The same goes for health problems and mental health problems. If you're going to discuss these things, don't discuss them just in terms of the problem themselves, just in terms of methodologies to solve the problem, to alleviate the problem, make it less worse than it was, or to find some kind of area for improvement that keeps the focus positive. Don't get pulled into other people's spirals, because that can happen. I say that not from specifically personal experience, but a friend of mine, she used to run and manage a group around mental health, and eventually she had to shut it down because she realized that even though she was trying to keep the focus on her struggles, the positive aspects of her dealing with what came up for her on a day-to-day basis and finding ways to manage and still live her life and run her business, too often people were hijacking her posts to get into extreme detail about their problems, and not in a way that was constructive, just to actually sort of dwell on them and create a negative perception around her that she didn't want to be involved with. So she had to stop it in the end. So you have to be really careful with these controversial topics. And guru posts, these are posts where you're kind of trying to teach to an audience. And those type of posts, you need to be really in a strong authority position with a lot of credibility in your sector before you want to put yourself into that teacher sort of doctor authority frame. People, you have to be known and respected by other people in your industry before you really want to try this. Otherwise, it can look like you're trying to elevate yourself above other people in a way that can seem condescending. Now, once you've actually got legitimate authority in your space as a featured speaker, or somebody's been published in lots of places, or an author of a book, certainly you can do some of that teaching and guru type posting. But initially, while you're still building your reputation, it's better to focus on the show don't tell principle of showing how you did something rather than telling other people, here's how you do it. It makes you much more relatable. Building your list of connections. The way I go about this is kind of the secret sauce. And this is when you join a group, add all of the admins, add all of the moderators that are listed at the top of the group. If there's people who are key people in your industry that are influential, you want to connect with them. You also want to connect with the people who they seem to engage with most often. And on your own posts, you want to connect with people who, write things that you love or 100% agree with, because you'll often find that you have similar interests. You want to connect with people who like, comment, or share on your posts, and you want to connect with people who like or reply your comments on other people's posts. And this bottom piece here on this page is just emotion, pain points, ideas. It's a list of all the different emotions that you can use for ideas, for posts, and for comments on Facebook. I didn't put them on the last page because I ran out of space. Okay, greeting your new connections daily. So at this point, you're adding to your friends list yourself by clicking on the likes, the comments on your own posts and other people's. And if you are posting regularly, you will start to generate interest and get people following you and sending you connection requests. Obviously, vet them first, have a look at their page, make sure that it's not a catfishing account, i.e. a fake account that's just set up for trying to cold pitch people. Make sure that the person's values are ones that you're generally agreeable with and you feel comfortable sharing content with. And if you add them, when I add them, I generally send them a very simple message, which is in my Facebook Messenger, hi, first name, thank you for connecting with me. And that's all I send, just that one simple line. I don't tell them who I am. I don't tell them what I do. I assume they're going to have some idea about that already, because either one of us has sent a connection to the other. So they'll be vetting me, or they'll already know who I am. And I don't want to force somebody into a conversation or make them feel like they're being pitched to. So then I'll just wait for their response. If the response comes back that it's a simple thank you or a thumbs up, I'll give a thumbs up in return, see if they want to talk further. But if they engage me in a conversation, I'll just chat with them about whatever they want to talk about. I'll let them lead the conversation and never cold pitch anybody. And I'll wait for them to ask about what I do, which most of the time people do. The only exception is if someone starts to cold pitch you in the first message. I would generally just block somebody like that because they're usually, they're not actually going to be interested in a conversation. They're just trying to cold pitch you. It's sort of more spammer type of methodology. But you could have an organic conversation with someone that's warm, friendly, and later on they might drop in what they do and they might want to pitch you a little bit. That's totally fine. I'm usually prepared to listen to people's pitches once it's in the context of a real conversation. It's not just, bang, 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 trying to hit you with the spam pitch straight away, which I will usually block somebody for. So now what? Once you know this, this all seems it seems quite obvious to you, or it seems quite basic, but magic in this is not immediate. But if you are daily spending 20, 30 minutes just connecting with people, sending connection requests, sending a welcome message to people who've connected with you, adding comments to other people's posts that you like, and actually putting up some posts of your own or using other people's content shares as an opportunity to post on your personal profile. New opportunities will come to you after a couple of months. People start tagging you on stuff. You become a known name in your sector, and you'll start to get DMs asking you for advice, especially from younger people who are maybe just starting out and a little bit behind you on the path. And those are really good people to help because they'll often then tag you in their post later on or give you some kind of a testimonial, and you'll start to see yourself naturally becoming a bit of a guru to those people over time, which is a really strong position for authority and credibility to be in. And that happens to you enough, people are going to just start reaching out and trying to hire you. So people will reach out to me all the time and they'll ask me for help, advice, and I will generally give it to them. And once I feel like that they're being genuine and they just want a question answered, and that they're not trying to just get a free consultation or whatever. And even then, like sometimes if people are polite, respectful, and friendly, and they ask for something in a cool way, or they talk about something that they know you're interested in, engaging in a conversation, I will give them some time. I've gotten on calls for 30 minutes or an hour with people with no expectation of selling anything, just because I like the conversation I had with them and they asked for a bit of help and advice. And I figure it's always worth doing it, even if they don't pay you anything. They will likely tag you somewhere, give you a testimonial, or they'll talk to somebody else about how you helped them out, and that can lead to you being hired later on. It's happened to me multiple times. So if you can afford to be generous with your time, do. The next stages. So you can grow a long way with organic. As I said, between April, when I was really just at sort of survival level with my online business, I've now more than 3x my revenue. I've just had my best month ever, and I've never actually written ads for myself. I've only ever written ads for clients. So there's a lot of room to grow. I can see I've got a lot more room to grow just with organic. There's much more headroom in organic than you think. And it can just come to it at the end of it, you have issues with time, at which point you might want to outsource to a freelancer, or you might want to start setting up some paid ads, or run your own group, or just do things like boosted posts as well to get your stuff more visible with less time. But you don't have to do that straight away, and you can just let things evolve naturally from like building up a popular profile. And like once you've got 1,500, 2,000 people connected on your profile, if you decide it's time to launch a group, you'll easily be able to get 20 to 30 members starting out and build up your own group related to whatever it is you do, which is a fantastic way to position yourself as a person of authority and to actually generate leads for your business. Learning what works, it can differ from person to person, what doesn't, and it's really hard to know. I'd caution you against kind of asking people for too much advice about what will this work, won't this work. The best way is just to get out there, rough, messy as it is. You might be scared that people will hate it or they'll criticize you. If there are particular people you're worried about criticizing you, just delete them, block them. Or if you're more worried in a general sense that people are going to not like what it is you have to say, I would just say you just got to do it. Feel the fear, do it anyway. If people don't like what you say, more often than not, they don't actually say anything negative. They just ignore you, and that being ignored is a powerful signal that what you wrote didn't work or what you posted didn't work. So you can actually just sort of tick that off of the list of things that didn't work and try again with something different. Getting in front of a lot of audience can be scary, but it's the absolute truth. Like if something hits on Facebook and you get 100 likes for it, you know that you've resonated with people on an emotional level. This stuff doesn't happen out of nowhere. People like things because they genuinely like them. If you're getting lots of loves and laugh reacts, that's even better. And last thing is, don't wait to be perfect. Get it out there. And that's from guy, Mr. Dan Meredith, who I'm sure Ola and Seamus know, but lots of people know in marketing. If you look at Dan's posts and his copy, like sometimes it can be really all over the place. He's into motorbike, and sometimes you suspect he's writing it with his motorbike gloves on, sitting by the side of the road drinking a cup of coffee, because it's just very off the cuff, very loose, very rough at times. But he engages with people on this deep emotional level, where Dan has got like a rabid following, like 15,000 people in his free group and another 500 plus in his paid group. I mean, people just really love to be involved in Dan's world, and they don't care about, he put his apostrophe in the wrong place, or he forgot to use capital letters here and there, or he sort of writes things in a strange way. They just love what he's about and they engage with him emotionally. And it's proven very lucrative, very successful for him over the years, and created loads and loads of opportunities for him to travel and work with interesting people. So, I'd say to you, do the same. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Just get it out there, throw some mud at the wall. Something's going to stick. You put 20, 30 minutes into this every day for a couple of months, and you will see big benefits and results out of it. That's the end of today's presentation. It's my last copywriting presentation for Elevate for the time being. I'd like to just take this opportunity to quickly say thank you to Seamus and Noel for letting me join in to talk to you guys in the group. It's been really good for me. I've learned a bit more about public speaking and being comfortable on camera than I was before. And I hope you guys have got something positive out of it too. And so, feel free to connect with me on Facebook if you want to, and I'll see you all around. All the best. Thank you.